Standing in the wake of this train wreck, my heart is beating faster in my chest. This depression terrifies me. When I'm awake, it's like these thoughts, they paralyze me. I don't wanna feel like this. I don't wanna feel like this. Time stops, weightless and cold. Silence burns like fire while my fears unfold. There's panic. Tooth to my cheek, too hard to speak without you. Lungs drain to air. Life feels unfair without you. Come back to me. Don't leave me to dream about you. Dream about you. Dream about you. How can I breathe without you? How can I breathe without you? Without you, what is left to say when the sky falls? I'm staring at your ghost in the stars. There's not a day that I don't miss you. The feeling swelling overflow. It's like I see you, hear you. I don't wanna feel like this. Why do I still feel like this? Heart ripped out of my brain. I sit here talking to myself. I think I'm going insane. Tooth to my cheek, too hard to speak without you. Lungs drain to air. Life feels unfair without you. Come back to me. Don't leave me to dream about you. Dream about you. Dream about you. How can I breathe without you? How can I breathe without you? The only way to fix this, the only way to fix this pain inside, the only way to fix this is a deep breath in as you say goodbye.
I kick ass for the Lord.
What about me?
I never loved him the way that I love you. Just drops the mic.
Sydney with his butt.
Can't see it from here.
What about the panty?
What about the panty? What's up, Butters? What's up, my friends? Like I'm wearing the same shirt that I was wearing in the Butters thing.
Oh, that's never good.
Oh, I know. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. Welcome in. As this holiday stream schedule has changed things a little bit, but welcome to 52/1993, the live movie conversation podcast where we discuss movies from the year 1993. I am your host, Cody, and I am joined by my co-host this week, Spencer. Welcome in, Spencer. Spencer, I think you were the first. I think you were, right?
First
Were you the
and
first?
last. I think you're right.
Did you do Leprechaun with me?
You know what? Maybe.
Or did it, was it? It's been
It was
so
either me
long.
or Joseph. I think I did it though.
I feel like you did it because I'm not sure if I convinced Joseph to do it
I
that
enjoyed
long ago.
Leprechaun.
Joe is a leprechaun?
No, I said no. I said I enjoyed Leprechaun. Jesus.
What? I mean, it's fine if you want to call him that. I mean, I'm sure he'll not love that, but
Yeah. Well, how far we've come though. Like,
I know.
that seems
52.
like
This is
so
it.
long ago.
52 wonderful, glorious movies. And Leprechaun, we did. You were my very first guest. I just confirmed that. So I figure I thought that, and that's kind of also why I chose you to be the last guest of the year. So, I was thinking up here.
I got you.
Yeah. So if this is your first time joining us, welcome in. We're happy for you to join us today. Just to give you a little bit of a heads up about what we do here. Basically, I've chosen 52 movies from the year 1993, important movies, and we talk about them based on their release dates, by their weekend releases. Doesn't matter if they're good or they're bad. It just matters that we're sitting here talking about them 30 years later. And then I have a guest host on to talk about the movie and then talk about what they've been watching lately and hear if there's anything good out there that any of us might have missed. So join in. We do this live because we want people to participate. We want people to ask questions and interrupt and disrupt and not necessarily be rude or anything. But yeah, have fun. If you've seen the movie, make some comments. If you haven't seen the movie, that's okay. We're here to have fun and talk about movies in general. So feel free to comment whatever platform you are using today. So I think that's everything. I think I did a good job there. Thank you. Your head nod approves. But today, let's talk about the movie. I don't know how long we'll talk about this movie, but today's movie is called In the Name of the Father. It was the very first time I had watched this movie, and I assume the same for you, right?
Yeah, definitely the first time. I had no idea what it was going to be about.
Yeah. So I actually did cheat a little bit, and I watched the preview or a trailer before just so I could get an idea of what this movie was about. And the trailers in the 90s are just something, let me tell you. Like, it doesn't matter if it's Schindler's List or if it's In the Name of the Father. It's got that guy, the guy that talks over. He's like, in the name of the Father, come December.
You definitely know what you're going to get when you watch 90s trailer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it was a fun trailer. It was upbeat, and then it was not. Kind of like this movie. It was upbeat at first, and then
That's a good explanation for it, because it was like a stark contrast from the beginning to the end.
yes, very much so. Very much so. So let's talk about In the Name of the Father and give a little bit of information before we really dig in with our analysis or
I do want to say
questions.
I'm sad that you've not got the censor bars today, because that's it's the big Twitch thing, right?
Oh yeah, I should cover up my my goodies.
Also, to bring us back a couple movies, I just want to say that this past week I had COVID. It hit me really bad, so I basically know exactly what Tom Hanks felt like in Philadelphia. Now I can say I know exactly what he was going through. So, fighting the good fight.
It's probably the worst thing that's been said on here, surprisingly. Oh man, Philadelphia was a good one. I enjoyed that one.
That was a good one. I was sad that I didn't get to watch all of it. You know, the holiday season kind of wrecked everything, but
It does.
yeah, that was a really good one.
It's hard to do this. Maybe next year we record these and then we can just play them. That
Yeah.
way.
I don't know. I like the live interactivity.
I
Really.
do too. That's next year's me to worry about that. So, all right. So, In the Name of the Father came out December 29th, 1993. We're coming up on the 30th anniversary here. It was directed by Jim Sheridan. And it was written by Terry George and Jim Sheridan, and it's based on a book called Proved Innocent, the story of Jerry Conlon and the Guildford Four by Jerry Conlon. So it is based on a true story, and it stars, I didn't list out all the cast here, but I did the important ones. Daniel Day-Lewis as Jerry Conlon, Pete Postlethwaite as Patrick Giuseppe Conlon. I didn't even know his name was Patrick, and that Giuseppe, I thought his name was just Giuseppe.
I did too. What? His name isn't?
Is Patrick Conlon?
I'm not gonna lie. I did get kind of confused with the patties because, like, is it not like kind of a derogatory term as well? And like somebody was calling somebody Patty, and then another person Patty. I was like, I don't know where the name is and where the.
It's okay if Irish people call themselves that.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Like sometimes it was an English person that was saying it to an Irish person.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I think to get it.
derogatory.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, when he says Patty's okay, he's talking derogatory.
Okay.
I mean, it's Patty though. Come on.
Yeah, if you can say
Yeah, which I can.
it.
That's mine. All right, Pete Postlethwaite as Giuseppe, Emma Thompson as Gareth Pierce.
That's a
and-
man's name.
That is a man's name. Corin Redgrave as Inspector Robert Dixon. A couple other guys in here: John Lynch, Tom Wilkinson in a very small, tiny role, who goes on to be a much bigger actor. Mark Shepard is also in a very tiny role in this, but he goes on to be in Supernatural. People probably recognize him from that. But if you had to give it a synopsis, what would you give it?
I was thinking about this all day, and I had a hard time because it's not. I don't know. It's just pretty straightforward movie. Like I don't know, a goofy petty thief gets caught up into some real political shit, I guess.
That's pretty good. Let me read what Google said. Unemployed young Irishman Jerry Conlon gets by as a petty thief in 1970s Belfast. When local IRA leaders get fed up with him, he flees to England and meets up with his friend Paul Hill. On the same night that the IRA bombs a nearby pub, the friends get kicked out of their communal digs and are forced to sleep in a park. He returns to Belfast, but is arrested as the prime suspect in the bombing and imprisoned, where he spends 15 years trying to clear his name.
Fair enough.
That's like the first part of the movie. You know?
Yeah. I don't feel like it does it justice. You're right.
Right. They're missing the father aspect of it.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole point.
Father. Yeah. This movie had a budget of $13 million, which is not too bad. I mean, explanatory. It takes place all in a prison, pretty much, and but it made $65.8 million at the box office, so definitely a profit there. With some of the reviews and stuff, Rotten Tomatoes give this movie a 94%, so it's on the higher side. IMDb. In my defense, bitch.
IMDb.
I am a dumb butt. That's what it stands for. It's 8.1 out of 10, and Letterboxd gives it a 4.1 out of 5. So very similar scores there. Let me read you a couple reviews here. This was actually a good review by Roger Ebert, but he said Sheridan was the director of My Left Foot, for which Day-Lewis won the Academy Award for Best Actor. Here is a story with similar appeal, and yet somehow the story doesn't coil in spring. It simply unfolds. He gave it 3 out of 4 stars. And then here's a negative one. This film takes forever to do what 60 Minutes does with the same meat in a single segment. Rita Kempley, Washington Post.
I think Rita just doesn't like Irish people.
Wow. I don't think anybody likes Irish people, honestly. That is what I've gotten from every Irish movie I've ever watched. I'm playing an Irish movie behind me. The Commitments, which is one of, if not my favorite movie of all time. It's a much funnier and lighthearted Irish movie, but nobody likes the Irish.
That is kind of weird. Like, why do they always get shit on? And then it kind of brings me to also like Italian people as well. I feel like people get away with like joking about them a lot more than they do with other groups, and I feel like the Italians the Irish kind of fall into that. Like, for some reason it's just generally accepted that you can poke fun at them.
Yeah, like I think of Jersey Shore and like how it's just generally accepted that these people are just, we can just whatever. Even now those people are pretty awful, but like but as it like, yeah, Italian people's a good comparison. We can just make fun of them, no problem. It's fine.
I don't know why that is.
I don't want to make fun of an Italian person ever.
But yeah, I mean, I'm probably not going to do that either.
We're here. We made a stand. And we're signing a pledge today.
Did we just solve racism?
I think so.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You heard it here first, folks. 2 white men solved racism.
We've done it.
We did it. We did it. This gesture's in Italian. I'm sure she's
really the NFL solved racism before we did. I mean, they put end racism in the end zones. So what more can you do?
And what are they all striving to get to? The end zone.
End zone.
Solved.
That's it.
This movie has a little bit of a legacy here. It was nominated for several Academy Awards. It was nominated for, I'll roll them off here. There's a lot of them. Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Editing. Didn't win a single thing.
No.
Oh.
But I mean, it was a pretty good year though for movies. So
honestly, it was. I was kind of surprised. Like next year is like 1994 is like my year. I'll say that a little bit. Like I think 94 is a great movie year. But I was surprised by 1993 a lot. When we went through it, I was like, damn.
that was, I mean, I think this was kind of the perfect one to end on, because that's exactly how I felt about this movie, is how I felt about a lot of them. Was like, that was way better than I would have expected it to be.
There were a lot of movies that this year that I did not, had not seen before. This one included. Philadelphia's on that list. Carlito's Way, Remains of the Day. All these movies I had never seen before, and just damn, like they used to make good movies.
Yeah, right.
They did. They just don't make drama. They do not make a $13 million or like a $30 million drama anymore. They just don't.
You can say the same thing about comedy too. It's falling off.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't make comedies anymore like they used to. Now, some people would say that has to do with not being able to get away with as much, but you can be fun. Everybody has had to move the line from back in the day to now, and people are still funny. So that's a bad excuse. People suck. I don't know. But I was really surprised by this movie, and I don't know why. I think with Daniel Day-Lewis in this as the lead role, I shouldn't have been too surprised. He's an amazing actor, but he disappointed me earlier this year.
In which one?
Age of Innocence, the Martin Scorsese movie that I thought was very pretty and everything, but like I just did not like it, did not vibe with that one as much. Yeah,
well, he wasn't the main guy in that though.
Yeah, he was.
Well, he was? I thought that was basically an Anthony Hopkins picture.
No, that was Remains of the Day.
That's what you said, no?
No, I said Age of Innocence.
Oh, okay. I don't even remember that one, to be honest.
Yeah, that was one that Alyssa and I had talked about. And it's like a period piece, like late 1800s. And it was Daniel Day-Lewis just crying the whole time. because people were making fun of his not wife in that movie, and some girl that he liked. So that was his idea of acting in that one.
I want to go rewatch it through that lens then.
Oh, please do. Please do. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about this movie a little bit after the Academy Awards. Like I said, no wins there, but I think there was some stiff competition with some of the other movies. Like you said, we'd seen a lot of good movies this year. And honestly, I think we've seen some movies that didn't get nominated that probably should have been nominated for something. So we'll talk about it. All right. Let's talk about some scenes in this movie that really stood out to you. What is first on your list?
Do you have anything? I don't want to jump too far ahead. Do you have anything before they go to London?
Yeah, I have the opening, like the basically him stealing scrap metal and being accused of a sniper, and then him running, and essentially a riot starts out, and you see. You get a lot of information in that like quick 10-minute scene, or this like quick 10 minutes before they go to England there. So
Yeah, it started off fast.
it really did start off pretty fast. How ridiculous is him stealing scrap metal and then playing the air guitar on a stick or something? Like,
That was definitely in my most ridiculous moment because he's just up there and they're just like sniper. And I'm like, oh god, come on now. So when I saw that, I was like, this movie's about to suck. This is about to be so ridiculous.
I thought the exact same thing, and I was like, that is the worst acting I've ever seen from that man. It was kind of bad. And yeah, but this tells about early 1970s Belfast, and how kind of tensions were high there between the IRA and
Not to be confused with the Roth retirement plan.
not to be confused with a Roth IRA. This is a much worse thing than just putting $6,500 away a year. But the IRA are some dudes, man, that wanted Ireland to become free of England, and did it in any means necessary. I have no stake in this. I'm politically know nothing about it. So I won't say anything politically about where I'm at.
That was one thing that this movie did, even though, it is Hollywood and it may not tell the whole story. It did shed some light for me on that entire situation because I didn't know hardly anything about it before I watched this film. Because as an American, we have kind of our own, bubble that we live in. We don't, a lot of us aren't really privy to international affairs, especially ones that we're not involved in. So it was kind of cool to see that and kind of see what they were going through, and because we don't learn about that stuff in history over here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same kind of thing with another movie that I believe you've seen, Irish movie, Banshees of Inisherin. Like the Irish Civil War that was happening in that movie in the background. Like, we don't know about that stuff. We know our Civil War. We don't know theirs. But I don't know. It is kind of. It is cool to be able to, experience some other history in a couple of movies. There's a lot of movies kind of about surrounding the IRA and this period of time in the 20th, 21st century. I mean, I believe it is still an active organization, considered a terrorist organization in here. And I still don't really know all the political stuff about it, but it is nice to know a little bit.
Well, and that's kind of like what's really cool about this entire project. Like a movie like this, for that reason, I probably never would have watched, and it just kind of broadens your horizons and makes you want to watch other films about other countries, political ongoings, or even if it's a background story in it. It's just it just kind of opens your world a little bit. So thanks, Hollywood.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see a movie. So we're talking about this movie, and takes place mostly in Belfast, which is in Northern Ireland. And then I believe like a movie like I'm watching in the background It takes place in like Dublin, which I think is significantly farther
Yeah.
away. Or I
Mhm.
mean, and we're talking about like the state of a state here. They're
Well,
not.
it's
It's
far away for them.
for them like it's north and south pretty much, so North Ireland, South Ireland, stuff like that. And then this movie that or behind me, this one is dealing with like Ireland in the early 90s, and they're like a third world country.
Huh.
People are out of work, they're basically going through the Great Depression of their own, so it's kind of fascinating to look at stuff like that. I love Irish movies. I could name like 6 that could easily be in my top 5.
I was doing a lot of research for this and ran across a lot of Scottish stuff as well.
Oh yeah, well, again, just talking about independence from England or the United Kingdom, and being free of them. We know a little bit about that. Hey, America. So we've got, we'll throw in the Revolutionary War in there and say what up, which they do reference a little bit in this movie, because one of the characters in prison does say, "How do people get free of the British? They have to fight to do it." So it's not the exact quote, but it's close enough. But anyway, back to that first scene, you do get a lot of that information. You get to see you get to see these Irish people that have nothing to do with the war or this like conflict or whatever, which is Jerry. He's just stealing because he needs to make money, and that's how he has to get by. You've got the British soldiers who are fighting against the IRA, and then you've got these people that don't want these people there at all, kind of still with Jerry, who are just like throwing stuff at these people, get out of here, throwing fire bombs and stuff.
Dude, yeah, at the tanks, I'm like, dang, the balls on these people.
And like they didn't attack, like that's so weird to me. Like the fact that they're not like, they're trying their hardest not to open fire on these people, and it's
Unless you're playing air guitar stick.
and then they're gonna shoot you
Yeah.
so much so. And then you see like the IRA's influence in Belfast and them dealing with people that aren't a part of the movement, like Jerry, and being like, "Hey, we're gonna kill you if you keep doing stuff like this," and bringing the British soldiers to our doors, and maybe potentially like exposing our hiding places for the weapons we have, stuff like that. So you
Yeah,
do
they
get a
like even that one scene like where they made him pull down his pants and like he asked why and he said so you don't get cloth in the wound and he pointed a gun at his leg. I was like, that's kind of brutal. Like even though
Yeah.
he didn't shoot him, like, geez, so you won't get cloth in the like, God.
That's considerate.
I mean, I'll give him that. Yeah.
Or maybe you want cloth in the. I don't know. No.
Well, he said it would cause an infection.
Oh yeah. So they are kind IRA members. They're kind. Yeah. So I wanted to just put that one down as one of my scenes, just because it kind of establishes the tension in Ireland at the time, in Northern Ireland, especially. So, what
Okay.
do you? Let's go to England.
Let's go to England. So, and this isn't really, well, I guess it's kind of a collection of scenes. I just really liked the free spirited nature they had whenever they went to London, like meeting up with people in the commune. I just thought that was kind of a cool, like, I don't know, subpopulation of people that didn't have to know each other to get along so well. I just thought that was really neat. Of course, there were some in the commune that didn't want them there, and that ends up getting them kicked out. But I just thought that was kind of cool. Like they don't know anybody there, and they're automatically able to go here and talk to this guy named Paddy that they'd heard about, and then they're set up with some friends already.
Yeah, I did enjoy the same part, the whole free love thing, and it is the early 70s, but it's like a continuation from the late 60s of the free love, summer of love, all that stuff. And I did love the scene where they open up his briefcase or whatever, or his luggage, and they're like, "Oh, there's dead pig in here."
And he was like, "We're vegetarian. This was for my aunt." And then they go upstairs and eat it.
He's like, Pinky, Porky.
That did make me laugh.
Yeah, that was pretty great. But yeah,
And then the kind of a continuation of that too. I really liked the scene of him stealing from the sex worker, just because like he was trying to be nice and give her wallet back, and they were being like super big assholes. So they end up getting their comeuppance on that, and he got like $700 out of the deal.
yeah. Which all that leads to everything bad that happened. I mean,
Of course.
um, no alibis and stuff would lead to the Guildford explosion. So before they do that, they've been kicked out of their commune. And this is my next thing. They've gotten kicked out of their commune, and they're looking to spend the night in the park on some park benches. They meet Charlie Burke, who ends up being a super important part of the story.
Did he though?
Yeah, like that was it. That's the whole reason they get exonerated.
I was a little bit confused. So at the end, I guess I'm confused. How is that the reason?
It's so because he was their alibi.
Well, I know that, but Charlie was never really mentioned again, was he?
After, I mean, in the end scene when they have the acquittal, that's the evidence she brings out is, hey, this is Charlie Burke, the guy that you guys said didn't exist.
Okay.
And here's his signed confession that, hey, these two guys were with me on this park bench, and when the
Okay.
explosions happened and everything.
I think I misunderstood and thought the piece of evidence was the guy that actually did the bombing, his confession.
No.
Okay.
So they have that, but everything else is so like this piece of evidence, and it's one of the things that really kind of bugged me about this movie. And from like doing a little bit of research, there should be a lot more that would bug me about this movie with its truth or supposed truth. In
But I mean, it's a movie though.
yeah, and for drama purposes, I think they did okay. But yeah, that very thin piece of evidence is what gets them out.
I do mention that later.
Yeah.
Of course, obviously, I kind of missed on what the evidence was, but I do kind of get at that later.
Yeah. And then after this explosion and everything, they don't think anything of it, and then they go back home because he just got $700 off of that sex worker, and he's walking around in his fur coat and he's throwing money around, and then he gets arrested the next day, like that day. So we don't see a lot of in between stuff there of them even being suspected, but yeah, they find these guys and pin it on these basically these two guys, Paul and Jerry, and go from there. So I bet your next scene is probably has to do with that.
No, I think I'm actually going to save a couple of my scenes because I've got a big laugh and a big cry that I want to save them for.
Okay.
So I'll jump to well, go ahead, because my last scene that I'll mention is pretty close to the end.
So I want to talk about the interrogation scene.
That was really good. Yeah, I should have mentioned that.
The interrogation scene, and I kind of thought I honestly had no idea like how much of the movie would be prison time and stuff like that. But this interrogation scene's pretty intense and kind of scary. I know this is the English police and everything, but you hear this all the time of like, they make documentaries about it. They make all these docuseries, these crime docuseries about it, about people being just bullied into confessing. And you even see Jerry to the point where he's like, he just signs a blank piece of paper and says, put whatever you want on there. I'm done. Like, they're like pulling his ears, and they do say, they're like, don't leave a mark, because they don't want to have any excuses to say that they bullied him into this. But
that was pretty surreal, because you do see that, like, that's in almost every like murder documentary. It's always somebody getting a coerced confession, because I mean they're just it's terrible. I mean, they're torturing the people.
Mm-hmm. And the rules around like interrogation is very interesting, because even in movies and stuff, they don't play it off like they can actually get away with a lot of stuff in an interrogation room. You don't have to have the lawyer present and all this other stuff like they show in the movies. They can do a lot of stuff to you to try and get a confession
and keep you however long they want
Yeah.
to.
And what they said they could keep them for what, 48 hours?
In the interrogation, I can't remember. I do remember though that the new act that they signed was for 7 days. They could keep
7 days. That's what it is. I got you for 7 days. So, because of the new like terrorist interrogation act that just got signed. So, I really like obviously, I think it's crazy like how much the British police are, just going after these guys and doing everything. But I really liked when both doors to the interrogation rooms were open and he could see Paul in the other one. I liked that a lot. And then they brought him in. They're like, basically like, hey, this guy ratted you out. Just confess.
Yeah, whenever he started saying that to the girl too, they were like, "Oh yeah, Jerry said this." I was like, "That's classic bullshit."
They can do that though.
Yeah,
it is wild. They can lie to you and say, "Yeah, this person confessed." So go for it. But of course, none of these people did it, and everybody basically admits to it. And out of this interrogation, they give up all these different names of people as well. Anybody that is connected to Jerry Conlon or Paul in any way, like the people from the commune who had no involvement in this at all, they get brought in. Jerry's dad gets brought in. Jerry's aunt gets brought in. Like that one's the bizarre one. And seeing that those people. And
well, did they ever offer up an explanation as to why they found nitroglycerin on their hands? I can't remember.
I don't know. I think it probably has to do with like gardening gloves or something like that, like fertilizer or something. That's what I kind of assumed. I didn't really look too hard into that. And that's one thing that this movie got a lot of flack for, is not showing or not appreciating the 7 people that also went to jail for a full sentence. Not getting as much like
not get
their stuff, but a little bit of stuff like that. So yes, I just wanted to mention the interrogation scene. I'm sure now we can move on to one of your next scenes.
I mean, my next one's like toward the very end, but I'll go ahead and it was the scene in prison where he kind of had the mental break, where he took the tape and wrapped it around his head. And
oh yeah.
I just thought that was a really powerful scene.
I like
other than my big laugh and cry.
That what you laughed and cried at that scene?
No, I said that was one of the more powerful ones, other than the laugh and cry.
I liked when he was just like pulling the tape out and like mimicking the fast forward, like just thinking gibberish. It was insane, but like obviously powerful, like you said. And this man who has been fighting for his freedom for 15 years and is just fed up. And that's after his dad has passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's after the IRA guy in prison has his little plot to burn the prison guard for.
Yeah, that was pretty wild too.
That was pretty gnarly. So
if only he would have fixed the hair in the projector, man.
Can you fix the hair in the projector? What's okay? I'll move on to your next scene because
that's all I got.
Oh, you didn't have the acquittal and the walkout?
I mean, I thought that kind of spoke for itself. I mentioned it later. But I mean, yeah, you can talk about it.
Yeah, no, they finally get the evidence. Like somehow, Emma Thompson's character Gareth finally gets the evidence that she needs after some definite bullshit with acquiring evidence. It's insane. But yeah, she gets the evidence. She gives a very impassioned speech, and then they're like, "All right, they're all free to go. Sorry." And he walks out of the front, and he does so. It is a very impactful scene, and it gets the point across and everything. I love, especially Daniel Day-Lewis's character Jerry walking on the seats to get out of the courtroom and saying like, I'm walking out the front door. I'm a free man. I'm walking out the front. I love it.
That's in my quotes because I think that's why I didn't put it in my scenes, because that was dope shit. And then Paul was just like, "Yeah, me too. I'm
I'm going out with Jerry." I love that. Oh god,
Yeah.
that was good. That was so good. So yeah, I think those are basically the big scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
So let's talk about characters. Let's talk about scene stealers. Who was your favorite character?
I thought, even though, well, like, it was weird at first. I didn't like him, but I think it was just because I'm not like that. But Giuseppe just he crushed it. I mean,
Yeah.
he did so good. I just thought the dynamic between him and Jerry like felt super real. Like that felt like father son, and I think that's why it frustrated me at first. I probably skew a little bit more toward like Jerry's personality, and I was
Mhm.
like, damn, the dad, dad ain't doing shit in prison. He's just sitting up there being a sad sack. Like, do something. But then, on the flip side, Jerry wasn't helping him. So I thought that
Yeah.
was a really cool dad and son dynamic. Oh, my phone
Yes.
is getting warm.
Oh no, that's okay. That's okay. It will do whatever you need to do. If you need to come back and talk
Oh,
to
you're
me,
good.
you
I'm gonna
do
turn
that.
on my fan.
Okay. So yeah, Giuseppe for me again, he's my favorite character in this, and I really do like the father son dynamic of this movie. I think it's a really um I think it's really what holds this movie together. I think there's some stuff with like the script and some of the scenes and everything doesn't fit as well together as I think it probably could have. But I think the stuff like when they focus on the father son relationship, I think it really is a great movie and a great dynamic that we keep talking about. But no, he kills it.
I do have a bit of a hot take here. It Emma Thompson gets too much credit for this film. I think she's
Oh,
barely in it, and she's just average. I think you could have put anyone in there and would have been fine.
I agree 100%. And that is one of the things I think I said when I do my little reviews on Letterboxd and everything. I was just like, this is Emma Thompson's second best movie of the year. And
What was
she's
her?
like, that Remains of the Day, the Anthony Hopkins movie. Yeah. She kills that movie and she's great in everything that she's in. But you're right. Like, she's just not in this movie enough. And they try and shoehorn her into having this really like awesome, impactful role. And she's just barely in it.
Yeah,
So,
that was kind of weird because like the movie's not about the lawyer that helps him. And I mean, looking back at like you said about the facts of the entire case, she can't even go into the courtroom anyway.
mm-mm.
But yeah, I think they should have just probably saved some of the budget and not gotten a big name for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, quotes. Let's move on to some of our favorite quotes in this movie. I've got a few in here.
So
I didn't think that I'd have too many, so I'll let
yeah,
you go for it.
I don't have a ton, and I'm not going to read all of one because it's very long. But we already talked about one of mine, and that's "I'm a free man. I shall go out the front door," which
Yeah.
is awesome. And this is the one I'm not going to read. It's just Jerry's entire monologue outside of the courtroom, talking about how he's an innocent man, and how he spent all that time in prison, and just he wants justice for the people that are guilty. I just thought that was good.
Yeah.
Uh, who is he? I can't remember. I think he's talking to either a guard or somebody interrogating him. And he says, "When can I go back to Belfast?" And the guy says, "Next time you'll see Belfast, they'll be flying day trips to the moon." And he said, "I always wanted to be an astronaut."
It's on my
I was
list
like,
too.
That's nice and quick witted. I liked it. And then the last one is Emma Thompson saying, "Well, I think they ought to take the word compassion out of the English dictionary."
Mm. That's a good one too. And I think that's an interesting one too, because of this quote when Jerry is, frustrated and he's talking to Emma Thompson's character and he says, "You're very good at the English, aren't you? You see, I don't understand your language. Justice, mercy, clemency. I literally don't understand what those words mean. I'd like to put it in an application to get all my teeth extracted. That way I could put my fist in my mouth and never speak another word of fucking English so long as I live." I love that.
That was a really good visual. I forgot about that. You're right. That one was really good.
Couple more. Giuseppe has some really good lines. I think it's probably towards the end of Giuseppe's life in prison, and his son is frustrated, and he says all they've done was block out the light. They can't block out the light in here. So kind of encouraging him to go on and continue fighting the fight and everything. Giuseppe also, this is one of the funnier ones, and it's when he is talking to his wife. She gets to visit him in prison, and his wife's telling her about his daughter, and she's dyed her hair blonde. And he's like, oh, okay. And she's like, and she's wearing a dog collar now with a boy attached to the other end. And he goes, as long as she's happy.
I did like that.
I love that so much. There is another big line that Jerry has when he's talking to his dad, and I just thought it was really sweet. Is when he says, what I remember most about my childhood is holding your hand, my wee hand and your big hand, and the smell of tobacco. I remember I could smell the tobacco in the palm of your hand. When I want to feel happy, I try to remember the smell of tobacco. And then Giuseppe says, hold my hand. I was like, ugh.
Well, then I laughed after that whenever Jerry was like, hold your fucking hand, like, if you want me to.
Yeah. So a little bit of father-son love there.
Their dynamic was really, really good.
Yeah, they're so good together. I loved them together. So, all right, let's move on to our biggest laugh, cry, scare, or thrill.
So my biggest laugh was the LSD and the puzzle pieces, especially whenever their enemy or whoever that guy was that they had to go down to the basement and talk to, whenever he took one, because he's in the background at one point just going.
I forget what country they gave him. He's working his way through Europe right now, I think is what they say.
I thought that, I don't know, that was just a really cool but funny part of the movie, and the Jamaican guy was awesome.
Yeah, love that guy. I think when they first introduced the LSD puzzle pieces, he says, well, don't give me Northern Ireland. I don't want a bad trip.
Oh, yeah, dude, yeah. That whole thing was just so funny.
And clever, man. I never thought about, like, oh, let's get a LSD-laced puzzle. And
yeah,
to them.
That's smart.
That is
and
smart.
Then I think I didn't cry technically, but
yeah, I did not cry in this movie.
The biggest cry, I guess the most moved I felt was when all the prisoners lit their little pieces of fire outside the window of the jail.
Yeah, and that was after Giuseppe dies. I think mine is a little bit before that, when Jerry is like getting his dad removed from the cell to go to the hospital, and he's like begging. He's like, can I go with him? And they're like, sorry, that's not how it works, kind of thing. And they slam the door on him a little bit. So.
I will say, kind of to round that out too, an honorable mention part was whenever they brought the priest in to tell him that his dad passed away. Like, he showed like he was just stone faced sitting there the entire time, and they alluded to like him having been sit there for a very long time, just staring straight forward. And I think that just shows kind of how broken he was at that point, and I thought that was really powerful.
Yeah, that was really good. He just says thank you.
Yeah.
When the priest, oh man, that's good. All right, anything else we need to talk about here? One thing I will say, the kind of like thrill, but like scare, is, and this is really just an acting thing, but Giuseppe, whenever like the fight breaks out in the prison, I think the first time, like seeing like the fear on his face because he's up 3 floors, seeing his son just get the shit beat out of him in the bottom. And he's just terrified at this because he didn't want any violence at all. Like, that's his big thing. Like, anti-violence, don't fight back. Like, you're putting us in a worse spot. But like his concern in that moment for his son, and just sadness because he can't walk up and down the stairs like he used to. So I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
All right. Now it's time for the WTF ridiculous moment.
We already talked about one of mine, and that was Jerry swinging around the stick and playing the air guitar because of how ridiculous that is. But I think, the only other one I have is basically the entire depiction of the English judicial system. And honestly, part of it is just the way the English judicial system works and their stupid ass wigs, which looks ridiculous to me. Because, like, how are you going to pass a sentence wearing a dumb ass little curly white wig? Like, it's so stupid. But that's just something
I
else.
wish we need to get some of your British friends to tell us if it's still dumb done this way.
Oh, they'll probably defend it.
Oh, they're so dumb.
I'm pretty sure it is still done that way, though.
It's annoying. It's
But
so annoying.
also, part of the ridiculousness was apparently in this movie, you could just bring in new evidence into the trial whenever you want, and you're just like, "Hey, yeah, I found this piece of paper,"
And then
let him
fully
go.
exonerated. Like,
I'm like, come on, man.
yeah, they show a picture and he's like, "I'm out, I'm free," walks out.
Like,
all of
in American court, they'd be like, "No, you bring that to discovery. Like, you can't do this."
It's like, I mean, obviously they were right in it, and
Yeah.
obviously it's for the movie and drama purposes and everything. But yeah, you four are free to go. This isn't even their fucking trial.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Jerry. It's Jerry's trial.
I forgot. The judge just took liberty into letting everybody involved in the case go. He was like, "Oh, and the rest of you can leave too."
And not to mention they put children in jail for
Yeah.
conspiracy.
I was wondering if they would ever address that.
They just talk about it
Yeah.
briefly.
And it's even small stuff with the courtroom stuff. Like, apparently British judges don't use gavels. Like, that's an easy problem they could have fixed.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure like these people would know like how it works. Maybe they just watch too much American crime or courtroom stuff, and we're like, that's
Probably
way
what it
better
was.
television. That's what I've heard though about like especially like European courtrooms and stuff. Like it's so much less like dramatic and less like telling a story and all this stuff. It's really boring what their
Yeah,
trials are like. So when they do courtroom dramas, they're just not as good because
makes sense.
we like to make it about ourselves.
It's true.
We kick ass at it. Have you guys ever seen The Firm? Lawyers are awesome here, right? Yeah, I think we're in agreement about that. All right, best music moment.
You will have more on this than I will, because I said it was good. I just couldn't give you a specific moment that stood out.
Honestly, without saying Bono again, obviously Bono was in charge of the soundtrack, and he's got I think 2 original songs, including the title track, which is called "In the Name of the Father," which is fine if you like U2.
You're still mad that they put it on your iPhone without asking.
I know I'm very angry about that. It's like I've been in prison with Jerry that whole time. No, I just put Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan because that's kind of during that time when they're doing their free love, having fun, they're singing along to the song and everything. And I love that Bob Dylan song, so that's why I picked that one. I think there's also a Jimi Hendrix song in here that is pretty prevalent. I can't remember what the name of it is though.
I do remember seeing his name.
He's like whistling the tune, or Jerry's like whistling it at one point. It also plays in the movie too, so thought that was pretty cool. All right, I'm skipping over the next one because nobody's dateable in this movie. I don't want to F Mary kill anybody. It might seem like I'm copping out, but I don't care. All right, who gave the best performance in this movie?
I think Daniel Day-Lewis. That's an easy pick. I know it's kind of a cop out because he's the lead, but I thought he killed it.
Yeah, I'm going with Pete old Postlethwaite.
I get it.
Yeah, I think he, with as much screen time as he was in the movie, I think he really did well. Not that Daniel Day-Lewis didn't do awesome in this movie. I'm giving it to Pete, and it makes me sad.
I can't hate that. Rip Giuseppe.
Rip Giuseppe, man. Justice for Giuseppe. All right, 1993 or a 2023 recast?
Your favorite. Did you do both?
I only did one for Jerry, and then I found out later that he was actually up for the role and didn't get it. So,
oh, that's not fun. I did 1993 and 2023. Whether it's good or not, who knows? Let her rip. So I put, and I think, I don't know how popular he is, but I've seen him in something. I put Robert Carlyle as Jerry,
Okay, he's okay.
and
I like
then
that.
for Giuseppe, I went with Ian McKellen.
Okay, he would have been. I mean, that would have been a good age for him to be. I feel like the Giuseppe in this was he's only 11 years older than Jerry in this movie. Like
That blows my
actors.
mind.
Yeah. Because I did feel like he did a really good job of being a really old man when he wasn't really that much older than him at all.
I was gonna say, who would we put that on though? Is that him for being a really old man, or is that Daniel Day Lewis for playing really young?
Who knows?
Maybe both.
Maybe both. But yeah, I just put Liam Neeson as Jerry. He was actually up for it. He's an Irish actor. I thought he would have probably done a really good job at that time, but I didn't recast Giuseppe. I just liked Giuseppe so much.
He
But
was.
apparently, the real Jerry Conlon wanted who is it? He wanted
You know who it is?
Johnny Depp. He wanted Johnny Depp to play him, and a young
think
Johnny Depp.
I think that's just the most famous actor he knew.
Well, so Johnny Depp's kind of famous for this, like finding somebody behind bars, and
Yeah.
I mean, he did it with the West Memphis 3. He was like in love with the main guy from the West Memphis 3. So I don't know. He just likes these people.
Did you do 2023?
I did.
Okay.
Did you?
Yeah. Let me know yours first because it's got to be way better, and then I'll hit you with this stinker.
Okay. So, not many people probably know who this guy is, but Robert Sheehan for Jerry. He's probably most famous for what is that? The Umbrella Academy.
Oh,
show?
I have seen that.
Okay, so he is the I forget Klaus in that movie.
Okay.
But I thought like he kind of gives that same physicality of Daniel Day-Lewis a little bit. He's also an Irish actor, and I don't know. I just thought he would be really good in
That's
this.
a deep pull.
Yeah, I like that one. I did. Cillian Murphy's a little too young, but I cast him as Giuseppe. I feel like he could do the same thing Pete Postlethwaite did.
Yeah.
Age him up a little bit. And then I've done this before for Emma Thompson. I don't know why. I just think Emily Blunt is Emma Thompson of today.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So those are the only 3 I cast though.
Okay. I went for Jerry. I'm telling you, man,
I love
these
it.
are kind of stinkers. For Jerry, I did Tom Felton because I don't know, because I felt him like it.
I don't hate it. I like Tom Felton a lot. I wish he was in more stuff. So
I agree. I do wish he was in more stuff. And then hopefully you've heard of this guy for Giuseppe, Jim Broadbent.
yeah, I know Jim Broadbent.
I like him for that. Or you just bring back Daniel Day-Lewis for Giuseppe.
Ooh, yeah. I'm all about bringing guys back.
I'm surprised you didn't do that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it, honestly. He would have actually been really good.
I think
And
so too.
and if I would have cast him in mine, he would have looked a little bit like the guy that I cast for Jerry. So
There you go.
damn, I missed out.
It's okay.
That's all right.
Hit one more.
Anybody? Who else? Did you do anybody else or just the 2?
No, that's it.
Okay. Did you know this movie has a body count of 6? Yeah, you nailed it.
I was thinking about it earlier today. I was counting in my head. I was like, oh, we got the 5 people in the bombing, and then we got Giuseppe.
Giuseppe, yep.
Oh,
Nailed
well,
it.
technically, that's official. Unofficially, the guard in the fire may have died. We don't know.
He was definitely maimed for life. That's what he says.
Yeah.
The guard in the fire. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Oof.
What did you do any research for this?
I did. I mean, it's all IMDb stuff.
Yeah, that's fine. Tell me what you liked.
This is a question. So you mentioned the writers earlier, and you said that it came from a book from Jerry Conlon. Did he help write on the movie as well?
I don't think so. I mean, he probably was there to be like, it was like this, or it was
Yeah.
he like consulted or anything. He doesn't get a writing credit though.
Okay. See, I saw on IMDb his name was on the writers. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah. So that's why I asked.
Yeah, when it came to like nominations and stuff, the one guy was nominated, Terry George. So
Like, well, I guess so. You'll probably have seen all these, but in preparation for his role, Daniel Day-Lewis lost 30 pounds and spent nights in jail, in the jail cell on the set as crew members threw water and verbal abuse at him, which is
I mean, I had this down, but it just like give it a break, Daniel Day-Lewis.
yeah. Well, he also kept his Northern Irish accent the whole time,
Yeah,
offset too.
it just like Daniel Day-Lewis delivers performances time in and time again. Like, guy's amazing. This stuff is annoying. Method acting is so dumb.
I hate method acting, dude. To me, a sign of a good actor is not having to be a method actor. Like, you can turn it off and on. That's why it's acting. Like, if you have to method act, kind of suck.
Yeah, and all the time that people talk about method actors, they're always assholes.
Yes, every single one.
Now, I've heard Daniel Day-Lewis isn't that bad, but it's also like he still annoys people on the sets that he's had whenever he's like, please address me as Abraham Lincoln every time you see me.
That would be super annoying. I'd be like, fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah, dude. I'm just trying to give you your fucking coffee from Starbucks that wasn't in 1865, you dickhead.
Oh,
These poor production assistants, they're just like, I just work here.
they get the worst of it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
In real life, they didn't share a prison cell, Giuseppe and Jerry. Which, honestly, when I saw that they were getting a cell together, I was like, oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, especially when they had two, like, hey, we're going to move him to a a maximum security prison because he killed 5 people. And your dad could come too, even though he got the lesser charge of like conspiracy or whatever.
Right. Like, they're going to be nice to them in this one huge aspect. No.
I mean, it does make it really cool. Like, the dynamic between the father and son. But yeah, like, not even true.
Yeah. The character of Inspector Robert Dixon is a combination of several police officers connected to the case, which we saw something similar with Rudy as well, whenever one person played kind of a combination of people through his life. So I just thought that was an interesting tie-in.
Yeah, I don't mind that change as much. Like, combining people, like, we don't need to introduce like 10 awful police officers. Let's just get one in here. Make him the villain. I like that.
And honestly, we talk about inconsistencies on the real story and the movie. This one I didn't mind at all as well, because I thought it was a really cool side story kind of storyline dynamic. Joe McAndrew, originally named Joe O'Connell, was not sent to the same prison. The guy that actually did the bombings was not sent to that same prison. But I thought it lended itself to a really good device to kind of, I don't know, to see them meet the guy that did that and be able to ask him questions, but then also kind of being on his side, but not completely on his side.
Right. So. Like, fight for our cause kind of thing, but you didn't do it. Yeah. I thought it was interesting too, just to kind of tie into some of the details that aren't true. Like you had already mentioned, like Gareth was instrumental in like the investigation, but she wasn't in the courtroom at all. She doesn't give a speech that gets them, out of prison or whatever. And she never even met the dad, which I was like, come on. Like,
I saw that too. I was like, really?
Do we need that? Yeah, I didn't love that. And then, like, I guess this is true that not all, 11 people that are tied to this case had their trials together. They all had separate trials, which makes way more sense.
I understand them lumping that together for the movie, though.
Yeah, for the movie, it makes sense. But the guy, so Gabriel Byrne is another Irish actor who was actually going to play Jerry and then decided not to, and he was just going to be the executive producer. He actually like distanced himself from this project because of all these liberties that they chose to take with the story, which I think is interesting. So. I probably stepped on some of yours. Anything else?
That's all I did. Huh?
Yeah. Jerry, the who this is about, This is from IMDb, but he did pass away in 2014 from lung cancer at the age of 60. I mean, apparently he had, a lot of trouble coming out of prison, which I imagine most people do. Had drug problems, alcohol problem, mental health problems, and I mean, it makes complete sense. That
Again, I know exactly how he felt though, because I had to quarantine for COVID for like 4 or 5 days, and me going back into civilian life was just. I texted my wife the whole time. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to reintegrate back into society after being in isolation for
you're
so long.
institutionalized.
It was rough, dude.
I
It was rough.
see you with COVID wrapping a cassette tape around your face.
Yeah, exactly the same story, pretty much. That was basically a shot-for-shot remake of me in COVID isolation.
I believe it. You're stupid, and I hate you. Other characters that were also involved in this: the woman who was sent to jail for life, Carol, who was only 17 at the time. After she got out of jail, she got married, had a child, and she actually died at 55.
Oh,
Yeah,
Carol. There is no Carol in HR.
Who is Pepe Sylvia? All right. I assume we both. I know your rating because of the internet,
Wait.
but what? Do you
You
have
didn't
anything
do.
else?
You ain't all that.
That's what I'm getting ready to do. And so you ain't all that. This is a good movie, but if you had to say something negative about this movie, what would you say?
I didn't like how they went to prison even though they were innocent. Like that wasn't very nice.
That was my least favorite part of this. They should have changed that.
No, I think it's all the courtroom stuff that we've talked about. That's the only part that really bothered me. Like I was like, yeah, it's bullshit. Like you can't just bring in this evidence. Come on.
So I also put something similar, but I said I don't feel like the movie ever really nailed down what exactly it wanted to be. Is it a courtroom drama? Is it a father-son movie? Is it a political statement? Is it a prison movie? Because we've seen all versions of that. And we just, it didn't really nail it down. I think it was at its heart and core a father-son movie. And yeah, so I also said more Emma Thompson, please, like give her something to do other than this, like
develop her character.
Yes, absolutely. So give me more Emma Thompson. I love her.
Even the scenes that they showed her in, like it was voiceover of Jerry. It was so odd.
It was weird. It was definitely weird. Like a fine wine in a dish. If you could pair this movie with another movie for a double feature, what would you choose? I've got a good one for you.
I've got some good ones. Well, we've already mentioned that, but one of these I've not actually seen. It just seems like it would be good. But so one of them's also in my recently watched that I would suggest, and that is Trainspotting. That's what I mentioned, the Scottish connection. So like them during the commune scene in London, like really reminded me of that, especially having recently watched that. And I thought like geographical distance, it was kind of cool. I thought it made sense.
I like that. That's really good.
The other one the one that I have not seen, that I think would be good is called Dear Sarah. Came out in 1989. It's actually a movie that's told the same story told from the perspective of Giuseppe's wife. So I've not seen it. Apparently got like really good reviews from what I've seen too. So I was kind of surprised to see that, and now I think maybe I should go watch it.
Yeah, I had never even heard of this movie, so I'll have to look that up after this.
Can I guess yours?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, is it Shawshank Redemption?
No, but that's a good one.
Okay.
That is a good one. Is there anything else?
I wrote down Clockwork Orange, but I just wrote it down. There's no reason.
I think a great movie, especially if we're talking about people being incarcerated and not committing the crime. Good comparison would be Holes.
Oh, oh no way! Did not even think about it. Oh, didn't
That
even
was-
think about it.
That was kind of my joke answer. But obviously, there's a movie that came out, I think, a couple of years ago called Belfast. That is about this time in history, and it's all done in black and white, and it's about this one family. Beautiful movie. I loved Belfast when it came out, and I recommend that to everybody. It is so good. So definitely check that one out. Just Mercy with Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan is about this very thing. And it is more of the I am a lawyer here to help you. And it's a true story. And that one actually has a lot more truth in it. But it is focused more on the lawyer prisoner relationship and them trying to figure out how to get him out of prison for something he didn't commit. And then I also put If Beale Street Could Talk as another movie about being in a wrongfully convicted. And just because of the way that, obviously they hated they wanted to blame these hippie Irish people that were in London in the same way they just wanted to blame this black man in If Beale Street Could Talk. So another really fantastic movie. That is a beautiful, both Belfast and If Beale Street Could Talk are beautifully shot movies. Not only for their story, but like just visually, they're very pretty.
What about a movie where the guy was rightfully convicted? Law-abiding citizen.
Con Air. Those are good. Law-abiding citizen. Yeah. No.
I don't know why I like that movie way more than I should. I think it's something about you've never seen it.
No, is that the one with Gerard Butler?
Yeah. I think there's just some cool kills in it. I think that's what it is.
I love cool kills and another Jamie Foxx movie.
Yeah, can't go wrong.
And doesn't he have a movie out? I think you were telling me about it. Again, like a lawyer movie.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of it. I've honestly forgotten it, but it's kind of the same thing about a lawyer. It's like a lawyer or a group of black lawyers who help this white man that nobody else will represent. I can't remember what it's called, but
The Burial.
Yeah, The Burial. Is that what it's about? I could be way off there.
It says it's about an unconventional lawyer helping a funeral home owner with financial troubles save his family business from a corporate behemoth.
That sounds less cool than what I said.
Yeah.
Maybe it sucks.
Yeah, it sounds like it sucks.
But Just Mercy was good because I've been wanting to see that.
I like Just Mercy, and actually, The Burial has really good reviews.
I'm over here shitting on it.
Oh yeah, no, it's got really good reviews over here. But yeah, I love Just Mercy, and I'm not always the biggest Michael B. Jordan guy, but Jamie Foxx is so good in that movie. And it's a feel like it'll make you feel good after watching it, I think.
Yeah.
So check that out. It's a good book too if you're into reading. And then you can learn a little bit more about the main character and what he does for a living. So that's a good movie. Okay. Rewatchability rating. Would you rewatch this? What did you give it out of 5?
I would rewatch it. I don't think it's the easiest rewatch because obviously it's kind of politically heavy, but I gave it a 3.5.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I gave it a 2. I didn't feel like I was like, I don't know if I saw this like passing it on television, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to watch this. Unless it's like one of those key scenes where you see him like doing one of his speeches, or I don't know. If it were at a certain part, I might watch it. So I gave it a 2.
Yeah,
overall star rating.
I gave it a 4. I feel like you could push me to a 4.5 and I wouldn't argue.
I think I gave it a 4 as well. If I remember correctly.
You did. It's just a solid movie, man.
Yeah, it's a very solid movie. Great performances. It's about an interesting subject. Obviously, it's got its flaws, but yeah, I think it's a really good movie and probably definitely deserved. Well, besides Emma Thompson getting nominated, I think both nominations were well deserved for this. So thought it was
Yep.
really good. So
I'm glad to have watched it.
me too. It is one of those other movies that we've watched this year that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm glad I've seen this now, and it was surprisingly better than I anticipated. So, that's it. That's it. We've done it. We've done 52 movies this year. It's
Oh, I
insane.
can't believe we've done it.
How many movies have you watched total this year?
I think 130.
How's that feel?
Different, because usually I would have watched about 30.
Yeah, it's crazy. Alyssa said the same thing. Like she's watched so many movies because of this and everything.
It's the Cody effect, man.
It's the Cody effect. It's the 52 effect.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, it's like, I don't know, like, and not only just watching these 52 movies, but like having done this project, like I said earlier, has caused me to watch like way more movies that I never would have, given a second thought.
Yeah. Maybe we should change it up. Maybe what else do you want to do with your life? We'll do 52 of those.
Oh, not in one day.
Maybe if I lose 52 pounds next year.
There you go.
That'll be good. Well, obviously, thank you, Spencer. You've kind of been a big proponent of me doing this and getting this off the ground and working with me and encouraging me to do this and just give it a whirl. So I really do appreciate you and everything that you've done for me and with me in getting this started. As much as we've done, or I love doing it, and I'm happy that you kind of helped me or push me to it. So thank you.
You came up with the ideas, giving me some positive value in my life. Looking forward to these each week. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. So before I, say my next thing, is there anything that you've watched lately that you want to tell people about?
A lot. We've talked about me having watched a lot more this year.
Especially during your COVID quarantine.
Yeah, being in isolation, I got on some Paramount Plus and watched some stuff, watched some other stuff on other services. But yeah, let me start off by suggesting Saltburn to everyone. It's not a movie for everyone, but I have to suggest it to everyone. So it's beautiful. It's weird at times. I think it's fantastic. Another one that has been on my list for a long time that I finally got around to watching and would recommend is Mulholland Drive. Another one that came out this month on streaming that I finally got to watch is Barbie. So I really enjoyed that. Talked about Trainspotting being fantastic. I'll mention X. I watched X. It was pretty good. I watched The Disaster Artist finally. One movie that Cody actually suggested in the Discord, I actually watched and surprisingly enjoyed. It's a Tubi movie, so they're not always the best, but this one was good, and that's Triangle.
You watched it?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Triangle was fun, man.
Dude, yeah, it was trippy. Like, it was way better than I would have guessed. I was like, damn, this is on Tubi? Okay.
Tubi's the best.
It is good. And I watched, based on your recommendation, I also watched Sexy Beast. Fantastic movie. I can see why you would like it. It's very thief-like almost. And then before we started the stream, I think I might be like a third of the way through, but so far, Beau is Afraid is absolutely incredible.
You've definitely got a type out of all of those movies that
weird.
Like Beau is Afraid, Mulholland Drive. Like, I could probably throw some more David Lynch movies at you, and you'd probably be like, "This is dope." Like Lost Highway. I think you would really
anything trippy or like out of the ordinary or what people would call weird. Like, have you ever seen the movie John Dies at the End?
I've seen part of it. It wasn't because I didn't like it. I think it was just one of those ones I threw on and then fell asleep or something.
Yeah, just stuff like that. Anything like super trippy and weird, I'm into.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, good. Anytime you tell me about movies that you've seen, especially ones that aren't like on the ones that I recommended, it gives me more ideas, and I'm like, oh, I think he would like this movie, or I think he would like this movie. So I'll keep adding to your list. And yes, Tubi is wild, as Alyssa is saying. Like, I showed her one day that there was just like all these sci-fi like booby films out there. So many boobs, so much sci-fi weird stuff. It's hilarious.
Babes
But yeah,
at the Slime Bolorama.
Slime Bowler. I showed her that. I said I've already watched that booby movie. And there's so many more I can't wait to see. But again, if you haven't seen any of those movies, check those out on Spencer's recommendation. He's usually pretty good about what he likes. He doesn't always like everything that I like, but that's why we do this, is so have different opinions. But guys, we've done 52 movies this year for the year 1993, and we're not stopping now.
What's next?
What's next? We're gonna start a new season next week. Not next week, the week after next week. We're starting 52/1994, where we're going to cover 52 movies from the year 1994. But wait, there's more. We're going to do special streams as well that are going to cover even more movies in the year 1994. And we're going to unveil that all this Saturday. I'll do a special stream where we'll have people come in, come out. I'm going to send out some a Google Sheets or a Google form thing to where we can vote on our favorite films and give some superlatives out, and we'll announce the winners of those. And we'll also announce the schedule for 1994 and show you the movies that we're going to be watching next year. Hopefully we'll get some people to talk more about these movies with me and get some new guests. I've already got some new guests lined up for next year, along with some of your old favorites, including Spencer, Alyssa, Steven, Joseph, Tori, whoever is going to come on. We're going to have them all on.
Ryan,
don't want to forget Ryan. Love Ryan. But Ryan is definitely going to be back as well. And we hope to see you there. And if you would like to see us, or 52 slash, we've got a bunch of different things out there. We've got a link tree that I believe I tried to link on my Twitch, my Instagram, any of those things. If you can go ahead and click any of those or hit that follow button, join our Discord, talk about movies with me and Spencer, and now a couple other people have joined. Get on there and talk about the movies with us, or have your own conversations on there. We just want to keep the conversation going and build this thing up and build the 52-universe, as I'm calling it. I didn't prep you for that one. The 52-universe is going to be a big thing, and I'm really excited to see what the next stuff will be. So we'll see you on Saturday, and then we'll see you next time for 52/1994. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you in the next year.